Hello, Eric the Car Guy viewer. I am Eric the Car Guy, and welcome to part 4 of the 2002 Ford Focus clutch replacement video. This is the fourth and final installment of this video where you get to see the conclusion and how everything comes together. I'd like to remind you that this video is also available over at EricTheCarGuy.com to be purchased in its entirety. So if you wish to watch this video without interruption, you can head over to EricTheCarGuy.com. There is a link posted down in the description that you can click on that will take you there so that you can have this video for your very own self. Or you can kind of think of it as a donation. If this video saves you any amount of money, I'm going to ask just for a small amount of a contribution from you, and in return I will give you the uninterrupted version of this video. But for now, please enjoy this 2002 Ford Focus clutch replacement video in its conclusion. Thanks for watching.
In fact, I believe I've come up with a brilliant plan. Go up under here and just reconnect it. That way, that's just the equalizer line that runs between the two, and that way it won't come in contact with any of that stuff. This is normally hooked up to a clamp up there, but somebody disconnected it from there. You probably wouldn't see this on your vehicle, but if you do, there's an idea. This just pivots up this equalization line on the power steering. Gonna install the left axle while I'm at it. And that should be just a matter of fishing it down in there. Once again, be very careful of that axle seal and make sure that you don't get any dirt or contaminants on the end of the axle before you push it in. Get it lined up. It feels like it's starting to spline up. Pull the caliper knuckle assembly out of the way. There we go. When you hear that solid thud, it's in there. Might as well get this inserted into the hub while I'm at it. Get it started in that direction, but mostly it's this ball joint you're going to have to deal with, and for that I've got a long pry bar here I'm going to pry down in this lower control arm with. And you don't want to pull the inner boot out, because if you overextend the inner boot back there, then you're going to have to push it back together, which can be difficult. I'm going to show you a close-up on the ball joint what I'm doing here. Push down. Make sure the axle slips in. Just push it back. I'm going to try to keep that clip in there. It was there to begin with. I'm going to say it's probably important. Whoops, too far. Feels like it went pretty much right in. Right, I want to make absolutely certain that it's seated all the way in. I like that sound. I could feel the top of the ball joint. Right. So now I'm ready to insert my through bolt. Make sure you don't cross thread this because it seems to want to do just that. Seems to have no interest in going on there straight. I think I'll just make sure it's going on there with a couple of turns on my ratchet before I hit it with the impact. Yeah, it's going on straight. And this was a T50. Now the axle nut. Okay, now we're at the other side. I'm gonna start by getting the axle into position. Point into the back of the hub. Being careful once again not to overextend it. There we go. Pry bar in the lower control arm. Thing down to a happy place. See if I can line up that ball joint, which, if I'm honest, this ball joint has probably seen a better day. You can just sort of push and it'll fall into place. Yep, it's almost there. Just like the other side, I think I'm gonna have to tap it a few times to get it to seat in fully. Listen for the noise to change. And it did. You don't have to hit it hard. Take my through bolt that I put a little oil on. Insert that, tap it home. Put my nut on. Once again, making sure that thing gets on there straight. Start it with a ratchet, just to be sure. Yeah, it's going on straight. Install our axle nut. All right, now that we have the axles in, I'd like to fill up the transmission. And according to what my parts person tells me, this transmission takes 75 W90 Syn Power Valvoline gear oil. This is the stuff he told me to put in it. I'm not advertising for them, what have you. I'm just saying that this is what they put in there. So you'll notice that when you first take that top off, that there's some stuff that you need to get out of here. Now I think, yeah, and try not to drop any of this stuff down in that hole. I think I can just use these bottles to fill it with. So that's what I'm gonna do. What I'll do is I've got these actual tin snips. There's like a line you can see on the top of there. I just cut just below that line. And really, you just need to do one. You don't need to do both because you can take the cap off of this one and put it on that one. And that way you've got a good cap when you need it. All right, I got my pan, my oil is all ready. And I'm ready to start filling the transmission, but there's a problem. Take a look at what we have here. The car is not level. And if we filled the transmission now, we'd probably overfill it. So I'm gonna jack the back end up to try and get this thing level and then fill the transmission. In case you're wondering, this is where I'm jacking it up, right up underneath that cross brace. pressure on the jack, but just putting the jack stands there for precaution. Now that we know that we're level, this is a number 8 Allen. I misspoke earlier when I said that it was a T8. It's a number 8. And you're gonna fill the transmission up until it runs out this hole. That's the reason why I have my oil catch pan underneath here. And also the reason why we have it level, because if it wasn't level, we would not exactly be filling it up to the proper level. And I'm just going to take my bottle of fluid, point it into the hole, and squeeze. I'm not going to go rushing in. I'm just going to keep filling. My parts guy said that the capacity was just under two of these. So I'm hoping that my 2 bottles will be enough. That's pretty much that bottle. There's still a little bit left. Just gonna start the new bottle. Whatever's left, I'll marry into 1 bottle. And I hope there's some left. I hope I don't run out before I'm able to fill this transmission. All right, now I'll take what I've got in the 2 bottles and combine them. All right, I've taken the remainder of the other bottle and put it into this one. That doesn't sound good. Just sounds like a bad night of bean burritos or something. Well, I put in the entire 2 quarts, and I'm not seeing it running out yet. Let's see if I got any more of this 7590 lying around. Unfortunately, I don't have any more, but I do have this tube that is, it's a 5/16 7.9 millimeter fuel injection hose is what I have here. Now I'm going to come in from up top, slip it into that hole, and see if I can pour the rest of my fluid into here. There we go. I'm just going to take the tip of it, pour it down in. Go all the way in there. See how it's running out? Then we'll take our plug, reinstall it, and we'll know that along with the new clutch, our transmission now has clean, wonderful fluid in it. Machines like fresh fluids. You don't need to make it so tight it'll never come out again, just snug it. Clean up the area, and you're good. I'm gonna bring this thing down for the remainder of the repair. Okay, we don't want to forget about our friend the rear engine mount. Slip this guy right up in there. I'm actually going to start by fastening it here onto the block. I think that's best. All the short ones go into the block, or into the transmission I should say, and I'm just putting a little bit of oil on the threads. At least they made this mount easy to replace. Alright, those 3 are in. Take the longest one, slip that one in too. May have to rock the engine a little bit to get it to go up in. Okay, they're all 13s by the way. Now that we've got it all filled up, let's reinstall our shift linkage, but before we do that, Got to get our plastic cover back in place. We had 3 fasteners that were left. And this one here, we had one over here on the side, and there's one up here on the top that was broken. Looks like it's on there better than it was before. Let's bring our cables into action here. Find out where they want to live. Okay. Looks like this one wants to be under and maybe go on first. So that's exactly what I want to do with it. This might be easier to do from the top for this one. I think I'll do that. There we go. Yeah, reattach the shifter, and before I do, I'm just going to hit it. A little bit of silicone spray, rubber. Remember, rubber likes the silicone. See how easy that slipped on there? And do the same to this before I get it up in there. This one looks like it's going to require a little more persuasion than just my fingers. Remember, do not mess with this adjustment. There we go. Yeah, it's not going anywhere. That's not going anywhere. Got an outer cover for this. It just kind of goes into place and pops on. This will keep all the corrosive elements off of your shift linkage. Looking at this, I see a little bit of the insulation pulling away up here. So I'm just gonna hit it with some oil. This is transmission oil, by the way. Automatic transmission oil. I'm also, while I'm here, just gonna plug the reverse light switch back in. We're pretty much done under here. I'm thinking I might want to bleed the clutch. Bleed that clutch out, see how that thing feels. Bleed the clutch out. First need to remove that cap. Looks like we don't even need a wrench for the bleeder. Kind of weird. Looks like a on-off type of switch, really. Now these clutch hydraulics use the same fluid as in the brake reservoir. So I'll start by opening that up. I'm going to top off the brake fluid here. Make sure that I've got plenty before I get started. Alright, I'm going to hook up my handy brake bleeding tool. It's just a soda bottle with a hole drilled in the top, some aquarium tubing, and a piece of vacuum line that fits over the end of it, that fits onto the bleeder. I'm going to employ this down in here. I'm just going to sort of stick it in that slot and pump the pedal and see what happens. Just going to start by depressing the pedal to the floor and then bringing it back up, and continue to do that until I start to see fluid come out of the slate. The pedal is spring loaded, so it keeps coming back up. So I got fluid coming out of there. I don't see any yet. Any coming out of the master cylinder either. So I'm going to close it off, pump it up a few times, and see what I get. Open this bleeder up. I hope that's open.
feels more like it's open. I had to turn it all the way to the left till it clicked. I think I'm feeling some fluid go through it now. Okay, cool. That's okay. Running the master cylinder dry, not so much. So definitely make sure you top off the master. Let's try that again, shall we? Nice solid fluid that's come out of there. So, might have a clutch pedal. Feels good. I think we might have done it. Put the cover back on. Make sure that's clicked closed. It's going to be kind of a pain to get down in there with the battery and the air box in place. It's good to make sure that we got that fixed now. Master cylinder's topped up. A little clip underneath here that make this easier so you don't break that switch. That would be expensive. Let's get this air box and battery box installed. We'll start with that air box. Once again, a little bit of silicone on the where rubber parts go. Don't want too much. Silicone and O2 sensors don't get along. So you just want enough to wet its whistle. I'm also going to hit it on these spots where it goes in. I suppose we'll start with the lower snorkel. It comes up under all this and hooks up front. If I'm not mistaken, that will sit. This one comes up and goes right into that. And then up front, you've got your plastic rivets to install. Take this guy, drop it down in here. Make sure you hook your PCV line back up. That just pushes in. And then make sure you hook up to this lower snorkel too. And then of course the upper. Absolutely do not forget to hook up a mass airflow sensor. That'll be the end of you. Tighten your screw. Any air leaks here after the mass airflow sensor is a bad thing. So you want to make sure you don't have any. Let's get that battery tray in here. Yeah, we're not bleeding that clutch with this battery in here. So we'll definitely just hook it up long enough to check that out. Make sure we can shift through the gears and the clutch is disengaging the transmission completely before we even go there. I'm going to clean these battery terminals after I do this test. For now, I just want to do the test. Run it through the gears. See what we got. Okay, here we are, the moment of truth. Let's get this thing back together. Okay, I think I've said this a time or two. Good battery connections for everything, especially on this positive terminal, before we install it the rest of the way. Clean battery is a happy battery. Don't forget the hold down. In some states, it's illegal not to have a battery hold down, so keep that in mind. I believe there was also a cover. One of these has like an indent going around the outside. Put that where the valve stem is. Clean up these jack stands and take this thing for a drive. I know I still have my gloves on, but if you could see and smell this car, that's more like it. Watch what happens now when I pull the brake. Try to start off. Just dump the clutch. Stalls out immediately. See the difference between a bad one and a good one. Do it again. Got the parking brake on. Got it first. I'll even give it an advantage. I'll put it in second. Let the clutch out. There you go. My seatbelt on. Let's take it for a drive. Want to run it through all the gears. Make sure there's no problem in any one of the gears. The engine doesn't sound happy, but transmission's all right. Check reverse. Works. Let's sum it up. Okay, in summary, 2002 Ford Focus clutch job. This is the old one. During your test drive, make sure it shifts through all the gears smoothly. There's no grinding, anything like that. Also make sure that you check reverse. Once you've made sure of all those things, then also poke your head up under there, look for leaks, maybe slide a piece of cardboard under there or something like that. Smell for any weird smells. If you feel or just notice anything abnormal, then, obviously go back and take a look at what you did. If the clutch chatters a lot when you engage it, it could be something to do with the installation of the pressure plate. It could be the resurfacing of the flywheel. I know I didn't quote unquote properly resurface that flywheel. I've actually done that before. It's maybe I can get out to that place where they have that machine and do a flywheel machining for you, just so that you can see what the process is like. But what I did, cleaning it up, I've rarely had problem there. Also make sure you don't get any oil or contaminants on the clutch disc itself, because that can also cause it to chatter or shudder as you engage the clutch. That could mean that there's a problem with the installation, either the pressure plate not creating enough pressure on the disc itself to grab, or there's inconsistencies in the surface of the flywheel. Mostly what you're looking for is improvement, like what we have here. So I'm very happy with how this turned out. This was my first clutch job on this vehicle. Not my first clutch job, but my first one on this guy. It wasn't so bad. It really wasn't compared to a lot of things. But you are going to need some special tools, namely that engine brace. I really wouldn't trust a floor jack to do that, so I would definitely want a brace underneath there. Once again, I'm not a Ford expert, just mechanic, so mostly in situations like this I try to figure things out as I go along, like we did in this video. Other than that, you can always visit me at EricTheCarGuy.com for more titles and full-length videos for purchase, or just a huge library of free videos, in addition to the Eric the Car Guy forum, where there are plenty of people there that are even more knowledgeable than myself, that are available for you to ask questions to. Just head over to the forum link at the Eric the Car Guy website and check it out. Yeah, you can also find me on Facebook and Twitter. But I always close with, be safe, have fun, and of course, stay dirty. See ya.